Here are 3 simple ways to lose your very best customers quickly. The first one is the most obvious: antagonism. This is when you have a member at a health club, let's say, for example, and their favorite equipment breaks down, and they go up to someone and bring it to their attention by saying, that piece of equipment has been out of order for 10 days. And the person responds geniusly by saying, we just put a sign on that 3 days ago. It hasn't even been close to 10 days. I won't say any more on that subject. Number 2, this one's a little bit more subtle and a bit more clever, but far more insidious. And that is, well, we haven't had any complaints about this in the past. Recently, I know someone who went into a studio, and something they had in the studio actually damaged her face. And she brought it to the attention of management. And their response wasn't, oh my days, we need to sort this out straight away. Their response was, well, we've been open for quite a while now, and nobody has had that complaint before. And then they went on to say, and you can't prove it. People usually don't get sued because of what happens. It's how they respond to a customer in lieu of what happens that gets companies into trouble. And the most dismissive, invalidating thing you can say when something is important enough to a customer that they take the time and energy to bring it to your attention is, well, I've not heard that complaint before. Imagine the worst date you've ever been on. And as you extricate yourself, you do this person a courtesy by saying, you mistreated me in this way, and they say, no, haven't heard that complaint before. How do you feel? And the answer is, not better. And finally, deflection. This is when somebody brings a complaint to your attention, and you or someone on your team says, well, I'm not the manager. That's not my job. When you're in uniform, in the building, to that consumer, you look like the president, CEO, and every position through the entire organization, easy for me to say, to them. So here's 4 ways to deal with a complaint that will, 1, help to resolve it a lot more frequently. Number 2, not only decrease the stress of your clientele, but decrease your level of stress and actually make you feel really good about what you do every day, not just when things are going right, but even in the face of when things inevitably go wrong. It's represented in the acronym HEAR. The H means hear them out completely. Don't think about, well, how do I interject, or what's the solution? Sometimes people bring complaints because they just want to be heard, understood, and validated. And this very first step in the H of HEAR is usually enough to calm them down and feel justified in bringing you their complaint in the first place. The second letter is E, and that's empathy. We get into trouble sometimes when we view complaints from the perspective of our company, our policies. And I know you've brought a complaint to some company at some time in your life, and they said, well, our policy said, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that there was actually a policy in place. Yeah, this is no longer an issue. My opinion doesn't count. Doesn't that make you even more irritated? So hear it out from the perspective of, if I were this person, or if this person was a member of my family or someone I deeply cared about, how would it make me feel? Because that will reflect in your tonality, your body language, and the level of conscientiousness you bring to the solution. And the next letter is action. Tell the consumer or the client exactly what steps you're going to take next. What actions are you going to employ to resolve this? And R is reflect on the entire conversation and the actionable solution to make sure that it not only sounds like a good idea to you, but it completely meets the client or the consumer's level of satisfaction in problem resolution as well.